Hello, you're welcome to the Fixers Show. Hello, you're welcome to the Fixers Show. Hello, Team Fixers. You're welcome to a fresh new episode of the Fixers Show. Yeah. It's December, so I'm always excited in the month of December because it is my birthday month. Hallelujah. You're welcome. My name is Deborah Dodoche, aka The Fixer, and I'm streaming all the way from the beautiful city of Accra, Ghana. Let me know where you're watching me from. Type your location in the comment section. If you're going to be watching this as a live, type hashtag live. And if you're going to be watching this as a replay, type hashtag replay. The reason is I get to know who watched me live and who watched me when I was not live. So share the broadcast. Today we are talking about something very, very important with my co-fixer. We're talking about Twitch. Stephen Twitch Boss, the American dancer, executive producer of the Ellen DeGeneres show, who passed on, 2 days ago, and he committed suicide. So they say that he committed suicide, he took his life. And today we'll be looking at the story of Twitch. Why would Twitch would have done what he did? So share the broadcast. In as much as all of us are heartbroken, sometimes we have the hard questions. We have to ask hard questions as mental health advocates, and I'm one, and I've been wondering since when the news broke out. I've thought about it. I've gone to every possible page that talked about it, what people have advanced. People talked about depression, people talk about stress, people talk about anxiety, but there is a flip side to it, and the flip side to it is he's a happy guy. He's always happy. I don't think I've ever seen any picture of Twitch where he's not smiling, he's not dancing, he's not bubbly. And a couple of days ago, he celebrated his 9th anniversary, wedding anniversary, with his wife, Allison, and his three beautiful children, Wesley, Maddox, and Zion. And all of a sudden, he commits suicide. Who does that? In short, his village people, this one there, nobody can tell me that Twitch's village people did not follow him. So without further ado, please share the broadcast, and I'll be joined by my co-fixer, Miss Tabby Rose. I call her Honorable Professor Rose. You are welcome to the Fixers Show. It's good to have you today. This month I've been talking suicide, and I've looked at several aspects of suicide, why a person would want to commit suicide and all that. And I've shared my story and my battle with postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis. And being in a place, a depressive place, is a very dark place. Anything can happen. Yeah. It takes the grace of God for somebody to come out of depression, come out of stress, come out of anxiety, and be whole again. So I advocating for mental health is that I am a survivor. I'm a bona fide survivor. And I decided to say, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to create awareness, and I'm not stopping. I'm not backing down. And I'm happy when people, when we talk about mental health, a lot of people don't give it thought. They say, that's in Hawaii, for Africa. Yeah. And now we have a lot of conversations coming up, a lot of issues happening. And Twitch issue hits like a bang, boom. And everybody has suddenly awakened to the fact that mental health is real. Of course it's real. We have always said it is real. We didn't need a Twitch to die before we know that mental health.
Or many more Twitches.
Yes, or many more Twitches to die before we know mental health is real. It's something that we need to give attention to. It's something that we need to talk about. No matter the matter, we still have to discuss the matter. So today we are talking the suicide of Twitch. I, for one, I've read every post. I've read everything that has got to do with Twitch. I've listened to videos. I've watched videos. I've listened. I've read CNN. Whatever platform has spoken about his death, everybody has a comment to make. Ellen DeGeneres, he said, I'm heartbroken. Twitch was pure love and light. He was my family, and I loved him with all my heart. I will miss him. Please send your love and support to Allison and his beautiful children, Wesley, Maddox, and Zaya. That's what Ellen DeGeneres said. And after that, she's also been posting stuff about about Twitch, just to keep his memory alive and all of that. And under that post, we have 275,000 comments.
Yeah.
Under the post that Ellen DeGeneres made about him. But there's one particular comment that I loved. I don't know if I'll be able to get it because too many people have
already commented on the thread.
Yeah, but it was it's a comment that I loved. I even used it. The person was talking about there are some people that give light, but we don't know when they are consumed with darkness. We don't know when they need help, because Twitch was that kind of person that you will never see him sad. You always see him bubbly, and because he dances too, that also. Well, at every time he's always bubbly, gyrating, and all that. And behind the scenes, both of us have discussed extensively about Twitch's issue and the fact that we still do not understand what must have prompted him to commit suicide, because a normal suicide, let's put it quote and unquote, people leave quotes, I'm tired.
They leave links. They leave
suicide notes. He leaves some cues here and there about giving up, about being depressed, about stress, about work.
About being tired, about stress, about,
and family pressures, work pressures, and overwhelming. The person is overwhelmed with all the work and every family and all that. But we didn't have that with Twitch. So, my sister, what do you think?
Oh, like every other person, I can only speculate.
I'm telling you.
And like you talk, maybe Twitch village people come wrap your brain for some second.
I'm telling you.
Well, like I said, like with every other person, this particular case leaves me dumbfounded too, because it breaks every theory we have put down concerning suicide or concerning it just violates all the theories, because we all know that before the suicide happens, we have some clues.
Yeah.
And this what has happened seems like it's more of a homicide or a murder case or something like that.
Yeah.
Because we don't, what is baffling us with Twitch is that we don't have the clues. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody would have even had the least indication, because
because
he was a lively person.
Trini, like a couple of days ago, he celebrated his 9th wedding anniversary with his wife and family.
He was all over there, all over
dancing and all that. Yeah.
And you and I, we love dancing. Dancing is therapeutic. One would have imagined that for someone who dances, okay, you really, well, even if you had cares of the world, when you dance, it goes off. Music goes off, So it's hard to place a finger on Twitch's case. It's hard. And so far, all of us are just speculating, and I'm afraid that eventually it may fall on either his former boss or the wife, because I when I read some of the comments on some some blogs, people are like, check the wife. What did the wife do? Maybe this guy had problems at home, but till now we don't have any indication that Twitch had any marital issues.
Oh, the reason why his wife came
or any marital issues of significant proportion. We are like
what I'm saying. I think the reason why people will bring in Twitch's wife is because she when they said she came to the house, and they said it's like Twitch's car was in the driveway, and she ran to the police station and said that the husband went out without the car, and it is he doesn't do that. If that happens, it means there is a problem.
Everyone is trying to find someone to blame.
I know, that's what I'm saying, that people are bringing in the wife.
That act she did was not something regular. And she did just what any normal person would do if someone is missing. That's the normal thing. Yes, that's the normal thing.
No, how long was that particular time that she went to the police station to tell them that Twitch left his car at home is not normal? Is it that it was a thing or something?
To me, that's rather an indication of a stable home. Your wife knows all your patterns. She knows her husband. Yes, there are some people whom we know that even if they just tell you that they have a headache, it means that these are people whom we know them. We know them that they don't complain. So if they didn't complain once, right? then we will take it seriously. There are certain people like that. My kid sister, for instance, I know her the way she is. So there are certain things which, when she says them even once, I take it seriously.
Seriously, yeah.
You get. So this woman, to me, she knows her husband. She knows his patterns, and she knows his, program and everything. Such that the very one time he goes out like that, she's so in tune with her husband that she should know that something is not right about this.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. I knew my dad, for instance, when my late dad, I knew every program my late dad had, such that if my dad doesn't wake up, because my dad will wake up at 6 every day. The day I knew he was very sick, he didn't wake up at 6. I was like, no, Papa never doesn't wake up at 6 o'clock. So if he sleeps through 6 o'clock to 7 today, I'm taking him to the hospital. But it's not fine. I will not need two more days to find out whether Pa is sick. No. I saw no Pa's program that if Pa misses 6 o'clock news, if Pa misses his 7 a.m. coffee, no, something is wrong.
Something is wrong. Yeah.
So that is how I
you interpret that action, not as she had something to do with his death, but that she is connected to her husband in such a way that she can sense when something is wrong.
Yes, she can.
Yeah, because there are couples that have that kind of relationship. I have that kind of relationship with my husband where if you come to me and you are telling me something, I will tell you that this thing you're telling me, my husband would not agree to it.
Yeah.
He would not. And you say, oh, mommy, please. I said, Daddy would not agree to what you're telling. If he walks in 5 minutes later, I will tell the person, okay, tell Daddy what you told me. Immediately the person says, he said, no. I won't agree. He said, and mommy said it. So,
straight up.
Yes.
Straight up.
He will not agree to it. So, fine. Yeah. And it happens a lot in places that people don't even know that both of us are connected in any way. It's just that when you go with people, you tend to understand yourself. So your language tends to be
when you're so in sync with somebody.
Yes,
Yeah, this happens. Now, if you want to allow me to give my own speculations about this.
Okay, before you give your speculation, let me say something. Okay. Let me read something. Yeah. Is it Dotun Energy GAD? He said, this twitch's death is very sad and rare. There are always signs if there is a case of mental health. What was he doing differently? What were the signs he showed? Any triggers? How come most people don't notice a thing? It doesn't just sit right with me. Most creatives with mental health issues often drop hints, especially through their art. There is just
I read that comment.
There is just something I feel might have led to it. It's necessary to check what led to, so it's easier to help someone else. This is just strange. He looked like he was so happy. Okay, the reason why this particular thing, he talked about creatives and people who are in the entertainment industry. And every time I see stuff like this, it brings me back to Robin. Is it Robin? Who that guy, the comedian? Is it Robin Williams? The comedian who makes people laugh for a living, leaves a program, leaves a concert, goes back for making people laugh and go and kill himself.
Yeah, sadly.
And you say, well, that's a paradox. You make people laugh for a living. How come you can't make yourself laugh? Do you get what I'm saying? That's what people would ask, that if you could make me laugh, I'm sure your jokes can make you laugh. So why would you go to the extent of committing suicide when you make people laugh for a living? So these are some of the things that definitely we cannot understand. But his comment he made on Twitter, it kind of made me sit to reflect. No signs, no cues, no trigger. He's happy, he's everything. And now we cannot decipher. And one of the things that leaves me with this is unanswered questions, especially with the wife. You understand? The issue of what happened. What did I do? What did I do? Wasn't I to him? But we were just here the other day. He told me he loved me. He said I was the best thing that ever happened to him. He's happy, celebrated 9 years. What would have gone wrong? I didn't know he was. He puts the woman in a state. It's traumatic, to say the least.
Okay, another slight possibility. Okay, I think we've witnessed many marriages, or a few marriages. We've witnessed instances where when a husband dies, the wife comes to discover one side of the husband she never ever knew about.
It's true.
We've had instances like that. It's on the day of the husband's funeral that the wife got to discover the husband probably had 2-3 other wives.
What's that it was?
Yes, and in 19 years, the wife didn't have a single clue.
Probably he had another family somewhere. On the funeral,
yes,
and the woman comes with children.
Yes, she didn't have. Is it possible that Twitch there's a place in Twitch's life we don't know about that maybe eventually we are going to find out?
Yeah. That could have put like a lead on him or just screwed him over.
Yes. Is it like possible there is a closet, there is no cupboard?
If the gas died, my better keep
Is it possible that eventually we are going to one day find out some corner in the house where maybe he had his written thought and all his struggles in gone, and we'll find out that, okay, hey, this is what happened to Twitch. There are people who can keep something, and you will never know.
That's true.
You won't. Yes, you won't. Many of us have. Yes, many of us have. We've read so many accounts of people's lives actually being discovered long after they died, because of the way they covered it so well.
So well.
That could be just another possibility. That
all right.
That Twitch, there is something in Twitch's life that nobody had
access like to. Not even his flesh.
Yes. And so he just preferred to die with it than to let the world know.
Why are we blackmailing him?
Impossible. There's so many. I sat last night and I thought about this thing. I said, is there something Twitch didn't want us to know? Is there something? Are we going to find out something later? Because
that is going to be.
It just doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Because if we had to go by the fact that, okay, maybe transitioning from leaving the spotlight to getting down home, you and I will discuss this over and over. We've worked with people who are going through that transition. You know, they're going through the crisis of loss of a position, loss of stardom, loss of fame, loss of status,
something,
and something, and they have to deal with that period where they have to transition and readjust to new realities. Some people don't handle it quite well.
Yeah,
and we have heard of so many accounts where high-profile CEOs, once they retire, they don't live long more than 2 years. More than 2 years, they pass on because they just can't deal with the change. We've dealt with of couples who will be married 20-40 years, and when one spouse dies, the other spouse just can't handle living alone within a couple of years into transitions. So that could be another possibility. But in Twitch's case, it didn't appear like it was a problem to him.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about that. Don't worry, we'll talk about it. Okay. So if you're just joining us, you're welcome to the Fixer Show. Today we are discussing, is his name Steven or Steven Switch Boss or something? Yeah. We are just looking at it. He has taken the world by storm. We just want to know, Twitch, come on, what happened? Where did Allison go wrong? Why would you not think about your children? Why will you not think about your family? Why will you not think about your friends? Why? We are asking. No, we cannot bring you back. But all we can do is we have people out there we can help. So your story, we talk about your story, not in a bad light. We are talking because we have people who may be in the position that Twitch is. And we definitely need to let them know that suicide is not the answer. Nothing is not. It's not an option. It's not. No matter the problem, even if somebody wants to bring out your nudes, let them bring it out very soon. It would die out. If it is whatever it is that you did, and somebody is holding ransom, and like you feel that if it comes out, you are dead. Trust me, you will not die.
You will not die. Nobody ever died.
You will just reign for some short time, then it will pass. We are looking for the next news.
And the world is going to move on to the next big thing in less than no time.
You are not going to be in the spotlight for too long, so you don't have a problem.
Maximum 2 weeks. Maximum 2
We are
weeks.
looking for some other thing to feed on.
The next meal. The next meal.
So suicide is not the option. So, okay, now let me ask this question. Now I'm going to go, you were talking about something before we moved, and I said we're going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about his time with Ellen DeGeneres. I know he started with Ellen as a DJ. He was DJing, and he rose in the ranks of Ellen's show, and he became an executive producer. That means he had a decision in the show. He became very popular. A lot of people that know Twitch knew him through the show. Some people knew him through the So You Think You Can Dance, the dancing show. Some people knew him through Magic Mike. Some people knew him through some dancing movies, or however people knew him. He was out there, but he was not out there like the way he was out there with the Ellen show. A lot of spotlight was with him in the Ellen show. And I'm not saying this categoric. I'm saying there is a rumor that had been making the rounds where Ellen was being chastised. She was being, like, they were on her because people said behind the scenes Ellen was not good to her workers, though she kept saying on set that, oh, we should have to be kind to each other. People said that the working environment was toxic. It's a rumor. We read all those things on the internet, and Ellen was not treating her workers well. Some of the people even came out to say that it's true, Ellen this, Ellen that, Ellen that. And also, after that, it got to a point where Ellen decided that for whatever reason, the show had to come to an end. And as the show came to an end, that was in May. So June, July, August, September, October, November. Are we by any chance saying, or I'm trying to say that, could that be a possibility, like you were saying, that the fact that he lost that relevance, that thing, whatever it is, that was associated to the Ellen show, he may have thought that something or whatever it was. So, my dear sister, over to you.
that could be, that to me is just another speculation, because suicide, or the act of suicide, is about when there's really hopelessness, when you reach the end of your hope.
Yeah.
Now, people can actually be stressed, okay, can go through seasons of stress, to seasons of a mental low, or a season of depression by that transition. It's part and parcel of our existence. It's an existential issue, which by the way, I'm an existentialist in my approach to counseling, where we deal with life's questions, we deal with anxieties that come with change. We talk about things that happen because we are human. As human beings, we will definitely come to points of change, points of transition, points to deal with issues that are part and parcel of our existence as human beings. You see, so now, if I want to look at it categorically, now, was Ellen DeGeneres, was she so toxic to the point where she could actually have so affected this guy, who, by the way, was a boss in the whole place? It was not as if he was a low-level worker in the whole organization where the toxicity could affect him more. He was at the level of a boss. So I would totally rule out Ellen's supposed or alleged toxicity as an affecting factor to him. And let us look at the other aspect of losing that position, losing that relevance, losing all that, all that fame, and having to deal with it. It still didn't show up again as an issue, because when he went home was more jovial. He kept on talking about now he can spend time with family and stuff like that. So the impact, by what we see, wasn't that much. I don't think it was strong enough to have led him to take such a drastic decision. You see, I know. Quite a lot of people can't handle leaving the spotlight. And quite a lot of people can't even handle being in the spotlight. A lot of our celebrities, they're in the spotlight, but they're struggling with drugs. We don't have a history of drugs in his life, do we? I don't think we do. Yes. So basically, it's still a mystery. What could have happened?
We are, somebody said,
we don't know.
Somebody said people have become Inspector Gadget.
Yes, we don't know. Twitch doesn't have a history of drugs as far as we know so far. We don't know him being dependent on the substance. So he was a boss in that organization, and so Madame Ellen
DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres.
Generous Ellen, whatever. She couldn't have been such a, yes. So, and I don't know. It's just learning me. It's taking me now to the last point you and I discussed in the back about that instant when a certain thought just passes in your head. Because the opportunities and the occasion is just right. Then you just act on it without thinking.
No, but somebody said it could, because let's assume this will happen. Twitch,
we are all assuming,
killed himself. He shot himself in a hotel, meaning he had a gun. We don't know if he made a stop. We don't know if he made a stop to meet anybody along the road. He didn't take his car. So he made a stop. He went and booked the hotel room by his own hand. Up to the hotel room. Whatever would have happened in that hotel room, nobody still knows. And he shot himself. And the next thing is a distress call came. The police ran there and found out that yes, of a truth, it was Twitch. So at some point, we are talking about the thought. Is it that the thought crossed him in the house and he just carried himself and was going straight to the hotel to kill himself? You understand what I'm saying? So I discovered that when I was going through postpartum depression, I was like, okay, my child is not eating, all those things. And I thought that the child was worrying me, the child was tying me down. So what were my options? Okay, my options was to kill the child. I was ready to commit infanticide. It started with a thought. I refused to anybody. A lot of people that heard my story heard it for the first time. My husband heard it for the first time. Everybody heard it for the first time. I didn't tell anybody. That means you could be low-key wanting to kill yourself without anybody knowing.
Yes.
It happened to me. I was ready to kill my daughter, but I was looking for a way that is going to not make me look like a suspect. That if finally I decide to put what I am thinking into action, it is not going to come back to me that I was a person that did that. So there could be a possibility that all along that Switch was happy, he still had suicidal thoughts.
Or he didn't show us.
That's something that I didn't show anybody. If my husband had looked at me, he wouldn't have looked. He saw me when I was pregnant or had given birth. I didn't look like somebody who was ready to kill the child, our own daughter.
Well, but at least we had indications that you were stressed. You were depressed.
I was.
We had those
indications that I was stressed.
We could see for your case. For your case, we could see that though we may not have thought you could go to that extent, but at least if it happened, we could have had an explanation.
Attributed it to what I was going through.
Yes, we would have been able to say, okay, this is where you've been through all of this, so the possibility of it leading to that. Okay, we could trace it.
So couldn't we look at it as Twitch, who Twitch was, right? And if he normally he's a happy-go person, he wants people around him to be happy and all that. But yeah, there's a possibility that he could be struggling. And we did not know that he was struggling. His wife did not know that he was struggling. People around him did not know that he was struggling, because it goes to the next part that I want us to talk about. And that is the core of, I think it's something that we couldn't save Twitch. We didn't know what Twitch was going through. When I write, I said, I am privileged. I don't take it for granted that I survived postpartum depression and psychosis. But Twitch wasn't as lucky as I was to have escaped that dungeon, whatever it is that was happening to him at that time. But I survived it. So when we talk about things like that, this is the crux of the matter about the fact that men need to speak up. Because I'm going to bring it back to that scenario. So we're going to go for a short break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss why men don't speak up. So, sit
tight.
All right. So you're welcome back to the Fixer Show. My name is Deborah the Dolce, aka the Fixer, and we have been talking about Twitch's supposed suicide implications, possibilities, what could have triggered. All of us have become CID,
FBIs,
Interpol, all the security agencies. We have
NYPD Blue,
the NYPD,
all them. We don't talk.
We want to know why a 40-year-old bubbly young man,
married,
happy with 3 children, walk into a hotel room and kill himself. It's still an enigma. It's still a mystery that a lot of people have not been able to decode. But let me come from this angle. So if you're just joining us, please share the broadcast so that you can join in the discussion. If you have anything to say, please leave it in the comment section. Share your thoughts, what you think could be a possibility that Twitch may have killed himself. We are spiritual people, and we cannot rule the fact that it could be demonic manipulation, because there are times when, like you were talking about, a thought that just enters you, and something just a hand or something supernatural just amplifies the thought.
Yeah,
it gives you some sense of urgency. It's like, you have to do it. Go, move. It's like it controls you, because the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, rulers of darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high and low places. So we understand that there is a demonic dimension to this suicide thing. You understand? That necessitates, it just kind of attaches itself. And one of the things when I look at what I went through, I look at it and I'm like, it's like when I wanted to I felt that my daughter was a burden, she was not what I wanted and all that. When the thoughts came, it just kept amplifying. It just kept, it consumed my entire being. So every time I look at my child, it's this thing about committing murder that it comes to the fore.
Yeah.
Yes, it comes to the fore. It consumed my thoughts until after I had the discussion that I broke free. It's like something left me, because it comes on you like a cloak. It covers you. It covers your mind to see that is the only thing that is going to solve your problem. If you do that, in short, nothing else. So it kind of blinds, and I think it has some demonic dimension to it. What do you think?
Yeah, like I said, we are still speculating. And since for you and I who are adepts to spirituality, and I think we equally have a right to take a stand on certain approaches in life as Christians equally. I don't totally rule out also the possibility of a demonic influence behind certain acts. Now, take for instance, when we look at a lot of the shootings, the mass shootings that are taking place in the West, America and over. Now, you listen to those who did it. In 1 or 2 instances, I've heard the perpetrators say they just sat and a voice told them to take this gun and go shoot. Yes, and go shoot. A voice just tells you, you just see something tells you, go shoot. Go kill. We've heard, for those, I watch a lot of crime series, I watch a lot of this, and the minds of criminals, we keep getting this, someone saying that they were just sitting and a voice was telling them, go and kill, do this, go steal.
Do you see this thing you're saying? There was a lady that said a voice told her to cut the limbs of her child. And when she cut the limbs of her child, she called the husband and said, so the husband, instead of her to take the child to the hospital, she called the pastor. Tell the pastor that she had done it before even calling the paramedics. So sometimes you can look at it and like, when we talk about demonic, this is what we're talking about.
Well, malheur à ceux qui ne veulent pas entendre. Malheur à ceux qui ne veulent pas nous écouter, mais it's real. Sorry, I'm speaking French, but it's a reality.
Parce que moi, j'ai oublié mon petit français que je parle.
Moi, je suis camerounaise, je suis bilingue, donc il faut que je m'exprime en français, n'est-ce pas?
Oui.
Donc,
c'est comme ça, oui.
So this is it. This is it. We have these impulses that come and grip you so hard.
Yeah.
You and I were just discussing a while ago that you may not have had plans to steal something, or you may not have had it may not have been premeditated that you even rape someone or you molest someone. And so because the occasion just presents itself, the opportunity just presents itself, you find someone who is normally not a thief.
Yeah.
Simply because maybe a wallet is placed somewhere, or maybe some $100 bill is just standing somewhere, and something was like, take it, and you just collect and go.
Yeah.
And now maybe if by some chance you're caught, now by that single act, now you could be condemned.
You could be branded.
Yes. We've had people who've been burnt and lynched because they simply just, maybe they were passing in a store, they saw a candy bar,
they just took it. Yeah, they just took it.
Yes. And someone just started, Tivo. They killed them. Just that impulse.
Yeah.
So it could happen. There are lots of guys whom they didn't think they would rape, but simply because maybe a lady was just around at the moment, the company was deserted. Human nature.
Yeah.
Let me talk like you Ghanaians. Human nature. There is that nature.
Human nature.
There is that thing that is wired to do evil. Yeah. That is just there. That if that's why we need to tame our impulses.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, there could be a possibility at that moment, like that dark, that moment.
Yeah. And
it overwhelms you, like you said. You are powerless.
Yeah.
It just overwhelms you, and before long, you act on it.
Act on it.
That is why I for those of us who are cognitive behaviorists, we mind thoughts. We talk a lot about thoughts.
Yeah.
And then you should guard this thing because the moment it just zaps in.
Yeah.
When you look at cultism, you see that all has to do with people taking hold of your thoughts.
Yeah, your thoughts.
Somebody convinces you to believe that, Rose, don't drink water because you die. And I actually stopped drinking water and I am dying, but I can't drink water because there's an information in my head that water is going to kill me and I'm dying of thirst. I'm dying, but I can't drink water.
Yeah.
That is the power of thought impulses.
Yeah.
That is how strong it can be. And so at any given moment, you can just act on it, and before you know it, you're gone.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, someone I read somewhere, someone said that for a lot of people who commit suicide, especially those who maybe want to hang themselves.
Yeah.
They say at that moment when the rope is tightening on their neck, they are like, oh my, why did I do this? What made me do this? But it's already too late.
It's too late.
It's time for somebody who you want to drop from a cliff.
Yeah.
During that moment you're falling off, you are like, oh my,
what am I doing?
What am I doing?
It's like something you have a reality check.
A reality check, but unfortunately, you're in a downward trend to your death.
Yeah.
So as we keep speculating, could it be that truly Twitch may have had some of his things in there?
Yeah.
And then in a moment, it just like, why do you keep pretending with this life?
Yeah.
Why do you keep pretending it's okay?
Yes.
Why do you keep, how are you going to start telling people that it's not okay? Everyone knows you are bubbly, you're dancing. Everyone knows. So how do you tell anyone that it's not okay? People are going to say, oh, Twitch. And they say, I'd rather just end it.
Yeah.
And suddenly that morning, the thought just grips him, whoops.
Yeah. And
he looks at his whole life. He suddenly seems aimless, and he's okay, I'll end it. And that's it. He waits no time.
He's off. Wow, that could be a possibility. But one of the things I love, Tuni, about this particular switches conversation is that it has made a lot of people to start looking at mental health, to start talking about mental health, to start saying that we have to check up on one another. We have to be kind to one another. We have to be compassionate to one another. We have to empathize with one another because we don't know what people are facing. We have to be careful with what we say, what we talk about, kinder with our words, kinder. Let me read something before we now move to the last segment of what we're talking about. It's by Noel. He says there's a stigma in this world that men cannot or should not talk about their difficulties. The most dangerous phrase in the English language is be a man.
Be a man.
A wise man. He said be a man means to put up with something or deal with something such as pain or misfortune without complaining simply because you're a man by gender. He says, if you're a man and you're feeling overwhelmed and you think the only way to cope is to end your life, it is important to reach out and speak to someone. It can be difficult to ask for help, but some people care and are willing to listen. You don't have to go through this alone. Don't give up. Take the time to talk to someone who can help you find a way to cope and get through this tough time. A psychologist and mental health specialist once said, I would rather hear you express your struggles instead of seeing you throw in the towel. And one of the things I think we have been fighting on the Fixers show is to get men to talk about whatever it is that they are going through. Because personally, like under that, I responded, I said, since the story of Twitch's suicide broke out, I have thought long and hard why he did it. As a survivor of postpartum depression and psychosis, I completely understand what Twitch was going through, the internal struggle and the battle. It's a tough place to be. Yes, I personally am of the opinion that we should normalize men speaking up, asking for help, not being ashamed, being vulnerable and not letting their vulnerability be seen as a weakness but a strength. I want to encourage men's support groups where men can share their struggles and be heard and their concerns be given the attention it needs. Rest in peace, Twitch. So that's what I responded. Then someone said, that's Njoke Riser said, when I mentioned this in a post yesterday that it's okay for men to cry, someone said he can't cry for a woman to see. I felt so bad because even some men's ego can push them to conceal pain. The situation is really twisted and men need to normalize vulnerability. So that's it. It's a society. It's the way men have been perceived. It's not what it is. It's perceived to be tough. Men don't cry. Men don't show weakness. That's why when men are in abusive relationships, they can't talk because how do a man go tell his Master Mangadi beat me? Master Mangadi beat me. That you high go do beat you. You know we man again. You don't know what to do for that guy. You understand those kind of things, you know. The men feel like, okay, let me just stay, let me just be silent. And the statistics show that though women are more suicidal than men, it is actually men that go ahead to commit suicide.
More, yeah.
More. That they go through with it than women do. Because women will talk about it, but they can
talk. Women are expressive.
Yes, they're expressive. They'll talk about it and they can still commit suicide. But a man will conceal the pain for fear of being judged, for fear of being looked as weak, or whatever fear it may be, and conceal it and die. Okay, let's even assume, as we are assuming, that Twitch may actually have been going through something. Like you said, how is he going to come out to tell people that this is what he's going through? Like with the case of Empress Njama, I don't know if you know about Empress Njama, the actress.
I saw it this morning.
Yes, she and the husband, fiancé, not husband. She and the fiancé, the guy was abusing her and everything that has gone wrong. And now even the guy even went to put up a message and said, you don't know what is coming for you and all those kind of things. So do you know, even when Empress was talking, Empress said, you don't know what it took me to come out in a situation, in a society that criticizes, that judges. People were blaming Samuel Koson of blessed memory, that he came out to tell the truth and apologize. But people still came after him, even after he spoke the truth, that yes, I accept I stepped out on my wife. I'm sorry. I'm also sorry to the church and all that. They said people stopped inviting him. Oh, Samuel Koson, you should have known better. Oh, you are a church person. Oh, you are a minister, Munich minister. Oh, people talk and talk and talk and talk.
Yam done, yam no done.
Yam done, patati, patata, potato. Both bars. They did everything. Now when he died, some people come to the comment section. They don't say Samuel Post rest in peace. They say, hey, all the people that were criticizing him, they are the people now coming to say rest in peace after you who have killed him with your judgmental attitude. So I think
I still have my reservations as far as Samuel Post is, but then can I talk?
Oh, you can. We are discussing.
Okay, yeah. So about this aspect of men not being able to open. Now you're talking. I remember one of my a guy I dated in my uni days, and one of the difficulties I had with this guy was that I will know his trouble. I would say, "Tell me now, baby, talk now, baby. What is it?" He would just be silent in one corner there, and I would just be troubled until. And that particular pattern of life is still part of his life. Are we still friends, kind of? And it's still part of his life. He has a way of withdrawing. The moment you want to probe a little to get in and like, you can talk to me.
Yeah.
He switches off. He just goes off. And I fear for such persons because one day we may not know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, society has a way of like that be a man thing. It's the same thing I witnessed even in the one day in the labor room. The lady is crying because she was giving birth to her first child. The other women were saying that you cry waiting, woman not supposed to cry, you know.
You know, with the first for born.
Yeah, and you're not supposed to cry. Why are you ever crying? And that's a woman who's had 5 kids, and the lady is having her first baby, and she's talking. She should not cry. I told the lady, I said, "Mommy, you don't born 5 times. The girl is first and this was born.
Yes.
You're only for hold your hand for let me make born. Maybe for start to tell you how you're not supposed for crying. You know, there is this shame culture behind self-disclosure. There is this shame culture, particularly for men. Now, I will not advocate for someone to bring their vulnerabilities on social media because not every platform is a safe space to disclose. It's not. That is what I will keep advocating for. People who can be safe spaces, places, you know, not
support systems.
Support systems, yes. Samuel Okposo may not have made that statement on social media. He probably maybe had, if he would have had some people behind, he went and said and spoke to them. And those people cover him while social media is raging and going on. They cover him until he recovers. Okay. Because where you open up to matters, not everyone can handle sensitive information. Not everyone is empathetic. Listen, you know something? Me and you be Christian, no? Jesus Christ talks in this world, you will have problems. He didn't say you might. It is a given in this world.
Problems will come. It's a normal thing.
There will be stress. There will be challenges. There will be downloads. There will be moments like that. Okay. Yeah. So where you disclose equally is important. Medical practitioners master this.
Yeah.
You can tell the medical practitioner that you have a debilitating disease, or they can diagnose it. They won't tell the next person.
Yeah.
That's what makes them safe. They are a safe place where you can open your nyash and they do all the checking and treat you. Now, as far as mental health is concerned, as far as our depressions, as far as our pain is concerned, do we open up to those who will rejoice because of our pain? Or do we find those whom we know that, okay, I can tell you, like you, Debbie, you and I will come a long way. You are that safe space where I can come and tell you that, see, baby, this is happening. I know what fit. You too will find me. And it's like, I mean, now what about guys? What about guys? Guys, please. Can this your bro code you keep talking about? This brotherhood thing you guys talk about? Is it only about bragging about your successes? Or can you brothers sit together and say, man, I don't fuck up, oh. Man, this matter, they trouble, man, help me, oh. And I've witnessed men laugh at their own brothers. They shame them for opening up. And so even among men folks, I think the guy's ego may not allow him. Maybe a guy could open up to his mother. My junior brothers, there's one thing I noticed with my junior brothers, they could talk to their mom anytime.
Okay.
My mom was that safe space where I saw my you know, Nimbana. Nimba can really come and cry to my mom. My mom was always that place where he could come and lay his chest and cry and then go back. I have replaced my mom.
That means your mom made herself a safe place.
Yes. Now that my mom is older,
because there are some men that are not safe spaces. Some mothers are not safe spaces.
So we have that responsibility for all of us, everybody in your own place. Be empathetic, like we keep talking.
Yeah.
Be empathetic. Let's show some compassion. Let's not be quick to judge.
Yeah.
Now, this is another aspect which I point out. While we sensitize, while we advocate for more empathy, advocate for more, show of kindness, we equally don't have the strength to always be discerning as to when somebody needs a certain kind of help. Yeah. Because truth be told, everybody has his wahala.
Yeah.
I may be also in my own wahala season where I also need help. All of us, the world is stressful. Now we live it. In fact, living in these times is stressful.
It's stressful, yeah.
What is my other counsel? It's about building resilience.
Yeah, as an individual.
Yes, as an individual. Look, after living for 6 years within the crisis, the resting zones in Cameroon, I have seen people bounce back from impossible situations.
Yeah.
Impossible situations.
Seemingly impossible situations.
Yes, by me, I sit and I ask myself, Rose, if now you sit and watch someone slaughter your parents, your entire house is burnt down, you have all kinds of abuse, but you come out, you know what takes
smelling like roses, man.
What? You know what takes sniper drink? So woman give you one small heartbreak, you go take sniper drink. See, I personally, that's my approach to dealing with pain and hardship. Preparing, having this preparative mindset, strengthening people. This mindset of acceptance of things that can happen.
Yeah, and the things that you cannot change.
Yes, things you can't change. Acceptance of the fact that bad things can happen to good people.
So you build your capacity.
Yes, acceptance of the fact that everybody goes through stress. People and nobody's better than you. The rich people whom you think are okay, get into their homes and see what they're going through.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rich are not spared.
The rich people have their stress, but they have their own kind of stress
for their level.
Yes.
Poor people. There are some rich people who wish they could come and sit with me in this my Ndu village and drink this my Ndu tea that I am drinking and have the peace and have the peace that I want in this village.
So you don't have millions in your bank account. They have all the millions.
I drink my tea. Somebody out there in a 2D is wishing, Rose, if only I could come and sit like you in this village, eat burning cocoa and oil and be fine.
Oh my God. Walk, because where you are, I can sometimes when your pictures where you're walking, the place is really, it's cool. The scenery is very,
the scenery is therapeutic.
Yeah, very therapeutic.
It's therapeutic. But you don't know what these people in this place have been through. We've been in times when we're all on the floor for nights. Yes, for nights. There are days when we knew that every time we woke up, we'll find corpses on the road. We have had those days in this place.
Yeah.
But to get to that point of self, your life not be, and you must have an anchor.
Yeah.
You must have an anchor for your soul. I'm a Christian. My anchor remains Jesus. When every other person goes down, there is somebody, my soul is hooked somewhere. That is why I can't sink to certain levels in Jesus' name. Yeah, because it doesn't look like we don't have issues. There is that hope. Yeah, thank you, sis. Thank you, sis. You hang on there. If you want to be a Christian like me, I'll welcome you to hang on to my anchor. But everyone, find that anchor for your soul. I'm not talking of
So in times of trouble, you could always go back to your anchor.
It can be a sense of purpose. You should have that. Those are things that can keep you
grounded.
Because, yes, you and I, certain times we want to give up, but we look at what we have to do. We look at, baby, you look at those your kids. I look at all these young girls I'm teaching every day. I look at all these, but I say, Rose, if you die now, what's the point? Because you cannot afford to die and let these people down. Yeah. You cannot afford to give up now. And suddenly strength from somewhere comes up.
Just comes to you. Yeah, that's true. Yes. But I think I love the part you're talking about building resilience because in life, like you said, the Bible says Jesus says in this life you always have trouble. It's not like you walk at every turn anticipating trouble, but you know that definitely trouble would come. And one of the things I also discovered is that it got to a certain point in my life, I had to make some certain decisions. And decisions that I saw were draining me mentally. I kind of try to create a place, like we're talking about self-care and self-help. We have to know when to detach from situations that affect our mental health and affect us as a person, so that we don't find ourselves in that place where we'll be thinking like, because there was a time I was like, oh, I wanted to be this, I wanted to be that, I wanted to get here, I wanted to get there. But it dawned on me that you are not there. This is where you are. You can't, because if you spend time looking at where you were supposed to do, you will not appreciate where you are, or the things you have achieved. I always say that you may not be where you want to be, but you're also not where you used to be. So if you look at from January to December, you may have your goals you have set for yourself and the things that you wanted to achieve, and you achieved some of them, you didn't achieve some. Don't dwell on the things you didn't achieve. Celebrate the things you achieved. And now set the goals to 2023 and said, okay, I didn't achieve you in 2022. I still have life, means I still have the capacity to achieve you. The possibility to achieve you in 2023. So it makes life easier for you as a person, rather than trying to belabor the fact that, oh, I'm not in this place, I'm not in this place. Oh, my friend, like somebody put a post and said that you are holding your husband to buy you a car because you saw your neighbor having a car, not knowing that the car that your neighbor is driving is an official car. I said, Abio. The person just had a promotion in the office and they gave the person a car, and you are driving that little Corolla or that Nissan, and this person is driving a Mercedes Benz or something, and you are like, oh, we need a Mercedes Benz because you saw somebody having a Mercedes Benz. But you don't know that by virtue of that promotion that the person had, the person was given a Mercedes Benz. So at some point, we have to understand that you as a person, you have to learn how to manage your expectations.
Take responsibility for your life.
And let your happiness not be dependent on people. That if this man leaves me, I'll die. If this person does this, this will happen to me. Or if this thing, you somehow don't even love your own company. Somebody said, how do you expect people to love you when you don't love yourself?
You don't love yourself.
Somebody said, a single lady, before you think of getting married, you have to date yourself. Do you love your company? Do you love your own attitude? Do you love your attitude? Do you love your demeanor? Do you love your composure? Enough for somebody else to love that person that you are. And it made a lot of sense to me, because there are a lot of people that they can't be by themselves. So that's they get trapped in some of these nuances because they want to be attached to something. They want to be attached to somebody. You understand? So when the person leaves, it's like, oh, I can't do any other thing, because they have not developed, like you said, the resilience. They have not developed the capacity to be on their own. So they are like, every wind, something just passed.
They are blown.
Them and they are thinking of killing themselves. So if you are a man and you are a woman listening to us, you have to develop your own capacity as a person.
Take the responsibility. Take the responsibility
for your own life. You can't.
We can talk and tell people to be kind, but we have no control over when they choose to be kind.
That's it.
We really have.
It's true.
We only have control over how we choose to respond to circumstances.
That's it. But we can only encourage that, be empathetic with your words, especially when it comes to cyberbullying and online talking and saying, we can only say we beg. Just before you send it, think, just, how, if somebody were to write that to you, would you be happy? So but we cannot decide for that person that sees a post and decides that I just don't want to be kind to this person, or I've spoken to this person and the person has refused to listen. So I think this is my opportunity to just write out those mean words to that person. Okay, thank you so much, Professor Rose. for joining me today. We had a very fruitful discussion. I'm very happy. I like it. And I know that we'll continue to have discussions like this to create awareness about mental health. It's very important. I'm telling you, it happens in the mind. That's what the Bible says about be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's a mind thing, because there are times that I even sit down and begin to think about certain things. Then I have to bring myself to order and says, you stop thinking like that. Yes, you understand. I stop myself in the tracks when I see that I'm beginning to think and go in a place that that is not healthy for me. I kind of bring myself back on track. So we just have to have that self-consciousness and self-awareness, because they say the idleness is the devil's workshop. The enemy is always looking to manipulate your mind, take hold of your mind, so that you can use it to do anything, cause you to commit suicide, cause you to kill another person, cause you to shoot somebody, cause you to take drugs, cause you to just do something bizarre, like people who have bipolar disorder or narcissistic personality disorder. There's something that a spirit is just attached to that. You may have it, but it's just waiting for the right time to just anchor itself and create something that, trust me, at the end of the day, none of us is going to like the outcome. So thank you so much, Rose, for coming. Thank you.
My pleasure.
If you're not following us, follow us on the Fixers Show, both on Facebook and on YouTube. Until we come your way next time, it is bye-bye from the Fixers Show. So you see, today I didn't do makeup. I'm morning twitch. I'm in morning.
I'm drinking my
I didn't do pause today because I said, God, this one, dear, we are short of explanation. But like they say, God knows best.
Knows it all.
All we can say, the wife is Allison. We are sending love, we are sending light, that the Holy Spirit will comfort her at this period with the children. We are just praying that the Holy Spirit heals their heart, that let it not be that the memory the children have about their father is that he committed suicide. It's very traumatic. And let these children not grow up with this kind of trauma that, oh, my father did not love me, that's why he killed himself, or we were not good enough. You know, all the thoughts that would just be crawling here and there. We just pray that the Holy Spirit continues to minister to them and gives them people in their circle, their support system, that would also speak life and speak encouragement to them, that it's not their fault. Twitch did this on his own. It has got nothing to do with who you are or your personality or your person. So thank you so much, Rose. I'm very happy that we could have this session today. So it is bye-bye from the Fixers Show.